All right, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a fight review. So we're going back to last Friday for Invicta FC number 43 in Kansas City, Kansas. We're going to the main event, Featherweight division. Kayla Harrison coming in 7-0, taking on Courtney King coming in at 4-2. Now this fight was originally scheduled to be the co-main event up until fight week, and then it got moved up to the main event last minute. This was also Harrison's featherweight debut. So first round. Bit of a feeling out game on the feet for a little bit. Harrison tried a single leg attempt. It got rebuffed by King, but it allowed Harrison to close for the clinch. Now King managed to get to the outside, but after that she got dumped by Harrison, who entered King's guard. Now from there, Harrison landed this huge right elbow that opened up this enormous gash on King's forehead, and I didn't hear the sound the first time, but when I watched it the second and third time, the way this elbow landed, it made a sound that was just gross. It wasn't so much just a dull thud. There was a wet sound to it too. Like you could hear the skin tearing and the flesh tearing. It was wet. It was gross. Go watch it. If you don't mind gross stuff, go watch it. But this elbow opens up King's forehead wide open, very reminiscent of Lisa Verzosa when she fought Yulia Stoliarenko earlier this year. Blood just honestly was everywhere, and it just got smeared everywhere as Harrison starts raining some more GMP from King's guard. Harrison did pass to mount, and she was looking to finish, and she moved into the armbar for the final 20 seconds, but she didn't get it, and it went to the bell. So Cutman immediately went to work on Courtney King. He managed to get the bleeding to stop and just put a ton of Vaseline on the forehead of Courtney King. Second round. King closed with strikes, but it allowed Harrison to clinch. A trip by Harrison went straight into King's guard again. Some more ground and pound by Harrison from top, but honestly, it wasn't enough, so the referee stood it up. So from there, Harrison gets a big takedown. I believe it was a double leg. Again, got right into Courtney King's guard. Harrison was able to back out of it, but then used from there, she kind of like stood over a little bit, but then passed to half guard, and eventually got to side control, and then finally moved to mount. From there, Kayla Harrison starts throwing some more ground and pound, reopened the cut on Courtney King's head. Blood starts going everywhere again. Eventually, Harrison gives up mount to go to the crucifix, just starts landing some punches from the crucifix, and eventually the ref decides, I've seen enough. So, your winner, Kayla Harrison, via TKO due to ground strikes, 4 minutes, 48 seconds of round 2. So this was a bit of a mismatch, but it was also like short notice. I mean, Kayla Harrison, I think, took the fight on less than a month. So I tend to forgive mismatches if it's short notice. One thing I like is Kayla Harrison's patience and positional control. And I think it's something a lot of fighters can watch and learn from. You know, Harrison does not rush the finish. She just doesn't. I mean, she could go for the finish earlier and probably could force it, but she chooses not to force it. She said she basically is content to stay in position, hold positional control until it is safe for her to improve. And if the finish presents itself, that's when she goes for it. And like I said, that is something a lot of fighters can learn from, particularly fighters who go to a lot of scrambles and lose positions. You know, one thing I noticed from Kayla Harrison as she got back up, she did not look comfortable with how bloody everything was, and she just had this look on her face like, ugh. You know, it almost makes you wonder if she's a bit of a reluctant fighter. Not that she won't do what is necessary to get the win, but, you know, you kind of think of a reluctant fighter, someone who does it, like, maybe doesn't particularly enjoy it, but does it because they're that good at it. I don't think Kayla Harrison had ever been in a fight that bloody before. No, I've seen all of her fights. She's definitely never been in a fight that bloody before. And it probably makes you wonder, you know, what was going through her head after that win. And one thing I noticed in the post-fight interview, I don't think there's anybody who's a bigger critic of Kayla Harrison than herself. She is very tough on herself in a loss, already going over things that she could have done better. So, you know, she has a lot of haters out there. They're losers because, you know, as harsh as they are on her, guess what? She's harsh on herself. And that's something that a lot of fighters could probably learn from too, but just wanted to bring that up as well. All right, for things to work on, for Kayla Harrison, I'd like to see her throw some harder ground and pound. And with that, I mean with her fists. Obviously, elbows. This is the first time she ever got to throw elbows in a fight. She's been in PFL. They don't allow elbows. Obviously, her elbows are not a problem, but I'd like to see her throw some harder ground and pound with her fists. I think she definitely could have put Courtney King out in the first round if she threw harder with her fists. For Courtney King, you know, TJ DeSantis on the commentary team called this out. You know, she'll move in to strike, but then she's not moving back out. And when she moved in and stayed there, it allowed Kayla Harrison to, you know, latch onto her for the clinch and get takedowns. So she needs to learn to move in and out with the striking. In and out with the striking. Now for fights to make, for Courtney King, I'm not sure about. For Kayla Harrison, though, she mentioned that she's going to have one more fight in Invicta, has time for one more fight with Invicta before starting the next season with the Pro Fighters League. Chelsea Chandler was talking some smack and said that Kayla Harrison could have fought her but chose the easy fight. So I say, why not go ahead and make that fight? Kayla Harrison, Chelsea Chandler. Let's see Chandler, you know, put her money where her mouth is. Okay, so those are my thoughts on this fight. Bloody, absolute bloodbath in the cage. I mean, there was a smear mark where Courtney King's forehead had been moved across and where there was just blood. And it was just, ooh, it was bloody. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the fight in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please give it a like. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.